Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to the podcast brought to you by the ANOUVUE Collective, where we're going to talk about everything film related, from script to screen and anything else in between. Stay tuned. Good evening. Welcome to the ANOUVUE podcast. We're going to be talking to Mr. Dario Shields, the man, the myth, the legend from Montego Bay, the filmmaker, cinematographer, actor, director, writer, everything. The man, if you're talking about film in Mobile, this is the man has done what, almost 20 short films now? And they say reach
20,
That's what we
27,
call
27.
27.
that's what we call prolific. Prolific.
We're going to get into that a little bit. All right, so just to tell you a little bit about ANOUVUE, in case you don't know, it's a collective of filmmakers. I know you had a collective once in Montego Bay. It's pretty much the same concept, filmmakers of different practices, actors, writers, directors, producers, cinematographers, the whole nine, essentially forming a collective with the intention of creating high quality content, and trying to inspire, do our part to inspire the industry, do our part to educate and uplift the quality of the industry, and participate and very much collaborate with other filmmakers. All right, so Dario, I want you to introduce yourself first of all before we start, so that everybody who's watching can know who Dario Shields is.
Well, honestly, I'm really just a man. But really and truly, I'm a creative. I love to create. And a few years ago, I was studying accounting, and well, not studying.
What? Studying what?
I was correcting myself. I was not just studying accounting. I was actually a practicing accountant. So by my degree, I am a chartered accountant. But I I went to Los Angeles to represent Jamaica in a competition called the World Championships of Performing Arts in acting and rapping. And I came back with a whole different experience, a whole different perspective. I couldn't really focus at work. I found myself writing and doing all kind of different things. So I needed a break, literally. So I quit my job. I had a very, very good paying job. I quit my job and I went overseas, like again to the US, to just kind of spend some time with my family and also to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. While being there, I found myself just in love with watching shows, breaking down shows. So me and my sister would just be there watching Amazing Race, the movie series, the wrestling, all kind of different things I've been watching. And as I was watching them, I was drawn to them more and more and more. So I crafted the whole idea that I was going to come back and become a filmmaker. It was a thought, it was a dream, and it was very hard. And to date, I can say that many people have an idea of what they want as success. For me, my greatest desire is to win an Oscar award for Best Picture and Best Screenplay and Best Director, of course, for Jamaica. So it's not just me, it's really about creating stuff for the dreamers, for the people who really want to see a new light on our country, on our people, and just being able to have a camera and just create something or write something or acting something or just produce. So that's really been the driving force that has been the what I say, the gateway for everything that I've done for the last 10 to 15 years, really. So yeah.
So when you started out in filmmaking, like, well, one, how did you learn, and two, like, what was it like creating film in Mobile? Were you even aware of other filmmakers in the country at the time or what they were doing?
Well, honestly, so how it actually happened, this was actually before I quit my job, right? I really liked film. I really love to watch and enjoy movies. So even today, even though I make films, almost every Jamaican film that's ever been out, except from Destiny, I've watched, and I try to make myself available to go to the theater not just by myself, but with at least another film person and another non-film person so that we can enjoy the film, discuss it, learn from it together. In, I believe, 2011, when Get a Life came out, I was I was in college. And while I was there, I was a president of the Performing Arts Club. And so I got a free ticket to go and see it. While I was there watching it and so forth, my friend at the time said, "Yo, Dario, this is like your book because I have a novel." And he's like, "Yo, this is just like your book, like, because it's a very similar concept, different but similar." And he was like, "Yo, maybe you should write a movie, man." So I was like, I went home and I started doing a little research, and I wrote a script in like 3 weeks of the screenplay version of the book. But the thing is, I didn't know anything about screenwriting at the time. I knew about writing, but I didn't know anything about screenwriting. So I wrote a script and I showed it to a few persons, and they really liked it. It was like a condensed version of the book, a drama. I had a lot of things to learn and build from, but that's really how I got started. My first ever film, I believe I shot it in 2014 or 2013. I really don't remember. But what happened is I was supposed to get a guy who shot weddings to come and shoot the film. And he was caught up, let's use that. And so he wasn't able to come. People were there waiting for like 3 hours. So at the time we had some phones. So videos were a thing on your phones. So we actually shot a movie on a phone on 2 Samsung Galaxy S3. Big learning experience, massive learning experience, but I'm thankful for it because right now I have much better gear, much better phone, and it was a learning experience. And this is actually one of the things that kind of propelled me into every opportunity that I get. Like even recently, I went by the same college I went to, and some of the kids that saw me with the camera and stuff, they were asking me like, how can they learn and so forth. So my entire schedule got messed up because I started talking about film with them, breaking things down, helping them learning about it and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, Dario, you can actually charge for this, right? But then to be honest, it's really to give back, and every chance I get, I always try to pay it forward because when I started off, a lot of persons really helped me. And so every chance I get, I try to give back. So yeah.
Okay, cool. And so the first camera you picked up was a Samsung Galaxy S5.
No. It wasn't so advanced. It was a Samsung Galaxy S3.
S3, sorry.
So yeah.
So wait.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna know the camera, the Samsung camera then, but
no, it's not a camera.
It's a phone. It's a phone.
No.
It's a phone.
Listen, may I think about it like camera, because other than that, I'm not really pick up the Samsung, is it me?
So all right. So let me ask.
So you were doing phone before there was phone, basically.
Yeah.
Before people were shooting on phone, which is good. You're being resourceful. Yeah.
You have to.
Definitely. All right. Now you are a man who shoot a lot of films, right? How many short films you have?
Well, to date, I'm at 27. I think people only know like 13 or so, because for me, it's really learning. So the best way, I have this concept that my mentor taught me a few years ago, right? He said, Dario, the world is gonna be hard. Like you're not in an easy world. People are not gonna give you things easily. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to learn to fail, and you're gonna have to learn to fail fast. So the best way to fail is by doing. And so I wanted to learn cinematography, so I shot about 5 films, different styles, different ways. And mark you, some of them really didn't come out how I wanted. I didn't even show people a lot of them. I showed the actors and stuff, and I did tell them that, it may not go anywhere, but I did share with them. There was a film I shot and I didn't even edit it. I just literally just deleted the card because the sound did not go how I wanted it to go. and I did not know about ADR and those type of things at that time. Well, I knew about ADR, but I didn't have a Foley studio. I didn't know that you could actually use a little mic and just like record it over and those type of stuff. So it's a means of try, fail, fail better, fail better until, you know, you're pretty all right. You know, I think I'm pretty all right now.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, point blank, and it may spark some controversy, right?
Sure.
But I think it makes for interesting conversation. So when I did just meet you early in your career, you were at a point where you thought you were the best filmmaker in Jamaica. And then you came to Kingston and you went to a festival and you realized that, oh wait, there's some other guys here. Like, tell me about how that impacted the way you film, like the Dario before that experience and the Dario after that experience.
You know, honestly, you know, they have this concept of like a shark. When you're a shark and you're in a very big bowl, sorry, a small bowl, you're gonna grow to as big as that bowl is, right? And so when you're in that bowl and you're around other little fishies, let's call them fishies, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna be bigger than them, and because you're bigger than them, you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm the shit," right? And then you go into a bigger pond, and after you go into a bigger pond, you're gonna eventually grow, but then you're gonna come around things that are your size or even bigger than you. So then that's gonna push and propel you to want to grow even more. So coming to Kingston, one of the things I love about, I'm not gonna say all, I'm gonna say some like yourself, filmmakers who are humble enough to be really good at what they do and want to help a person who wants to grow. There's a lot of persons who are very close-minded. There's a lot of persons who are very in their own zones, like this is my clique. So when you see a film that they do, it's really their clique that they do it with. And then you have a few where they will reach out, they'll branch out, and then they'll get other persons on board. When I started off and I came to Kingston, my personality probably wasn't the easiest to digest. I'm used to being one of the best in almost anything that I do. When I did accounting, I came fifth in the Caribbean. I came third in the island. I was good at almost anything I did. So it brought on that cocky demeanor for me. It's kind of like a JC, KC thing, for a Calabar thing for Kingston. For
And the
Montego
best
Bay,
school,
it's
let
like
me just
Cornwall.
call. The two man
Yeah,
name yes are JC and KC, so the best school
okay,
just call.
okay, big up yourself. Down in this side, it's Cornwall College, you know, Monroe and those type of stuff. So when you go to that school and you're around elites, you're around people who do great things, and I'm always around people who do great things. That's gonna take on that type of attitude and personality for me. Coming to Kingston, and I think the first film I entered a festival with was, I believe it was not Shadow in the Dark. I think it was probably oh my God, I can't remember the name of it now. I think it probably Cedric Stone, but I think I won an audience award for that. And
Yeah, I think you did, yes.
I was expecting to win all these wonderful awards because I thought I was and then it was a humbling moment. But what was also humbling for me is the fact that persons didn't like remove themselves from me. Persons kind of saw, like yourself, that's kind of where we kind of created this friendship and stuff, you know. Persons kind of like reached out and say, yo, you know, I like your film, but XYZ. I like your film, but what I liked about your film, or what I think you should work on, and those type of things. When the ego gets settled and relaxed, you step back and you look into yourself and you're like, am I doing this because I am the best? Am I doing this because I want to be the best? Or am I doing this because I really love to do it and I want to be better at the next time? And so that was a journey for me. And, you know, I went back again and I went back again. I haven't really entered film festivals for a while because, as you know, I'm working on something really, really special. And so I've been kind of just in my zone, preparing for it mentally and so forth. So, yeah.
All right. Let me jump in real quick because
Sure.
I'm very happy you say what you just said. I've seen your work and I've seen you on screen and stuff. I'm hear about you. You don't know nothing about me unless you've heard something about me. Because sometimes people know for some reason something about me. I remember I was in the last propeller I work on. Your film was in that propeller. Knock knock. That's why I kept saying knock knock a while ago. So you're talking about where you entered the contest and so on. And I hear about, because when we sit down and watch it, I say, okay, I like that. Okay, that was I like that shot there. I like that, right? But then when you hear about the story, the on-set story, I was like, oh, because you hear about the ego clashes between the DP and the director and all of this, and you're like, oh, that's, as a filmmaker, you never want to hear about those type of things with filmmakers, because even if you never worked with them before, you don't want to work with them. See, so it's good that I hear this, so I understand where your brain space come from. Because if it's a winner, you're gonna always approach life like a winner, and everywhere you go, you gotta treat yourself like a winner until you get humbled, or you don't have to get humbled until you realize, hold on there, I'm not good as me think me did good. It's like way better people out there, you know what I mean? And I'm happy to hear that, because I've always thought about that with you. But I say, hold on there, is he that full of ego? Come here, have a bridging now. I stop talking to him, because I'm just stop talking to me because him full of ego. I'm not gonna deal with it. You see what I say? I can't deal with that energy there, because that's just too much waste of time over where it could be. When you talk about one thing and you could have talk about the one thing long time, and it's because of somebody ego why you can't just get past it. So I'm happy to hear about that. You see what I say? And I'm happy we have people like Kevin where we can read or maneuver around them type of energy there and talk to you one away and work with you one away. You see what I say? Me not gonna say to stop who you are, because that makes you who you are, and that actually is what make you very progressive and make you do what you're doing right now in developing things and have the movie night and your ability studio and all of these things. You see what I said? Don't stop that, because if you stop that and start thinking like other people, you'll fall off from yourself. You see what I say? You'll slow down. So thank goodness for Kevin, and that just bring, like, they can talk to, that can level you up more while and say, yeah man, maybe this, think about this, da 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 da. You see what I say? So I'm happy to hear that.
You know what, I appreciate that. One of the things that a lot of persons, I've gotten a lot of mixed feelings about the movie Knock Knock. A lot of mixed reactions. I won some awards internationally for it and stuff. And it really wasn't the movie I wanted to make. It really wasn't the movie I wanted to make. There were a lot of different things that happened that kind of, threw it off, especially that situation with Mario and stuff on set. It wasn't a perfect day, and there's so many things that could have happened differently. And I think that that is a topic in itself that can be covered in terms of like how a director leads this set, and how a production is supposed to be done. Because that's one of the things I definitely took away from it. We had one night to do the movie. And in a perfect world, if I had to do it again, I would have actually done that movie over 3 nights. I feel as if the story wasn't told exactly how it was supposed to. And that's probably why the message for the film wasn't as received how it was supposed to be. And that in itself is a learning lesson, because the movie that I'm working on, I have 2 scripts that I've completed, I've finished. Kevin has one of them. Well, Kevin read the first one, and then he has the other one. He hasn't given me his feedback on it yet, which I'm waiting on. But when he has given his feedback on the updated version of it, on what I call the writer's finished thing. But what I've learned over the last few months, years, and so forth, is that you have to treat everything like a baby. You have to treat everything delicate. Because in this world, you have delicate egos, you have delicate budgets, you have delicate friends, you have delicate everything. Everything is delicate. So you have to learn to treat it. And especially as a director, you have to learn to understand the people that you're working with, spend some time understanding it. And the approach that you give to one person, you can't give to everybody. So that is something that I've learned, especially on a film that I did recently called A Grim Deal 2. I learned that on a set, just watching a behind the scenes of the film. So that was like a humbling for me. That was a humbling moment for me. The movie that I'm working on, I can just share it here, because I'm gonna be doing casting for it soon. It's a movie called Sam Hero. It's a movie about our national hero, Sam Sharp. And it's literally a film that came to me. I was never searching for it. I was never trying to do I was never trying to do it. 4 persons came to me about the film in the very same day. I walked past the Sam Sharp statue in downtown Montego Bay, and I was like, something was just calling me about the statue, and I just kind of played it off. And then afterwards, someone said it, hey, Dario, I think that what we're wicked, we need a movie for Emancipation Day. We need something. And then another person said it, and then another person said it, and then literally within the space of 3 hours, and I was like, all right. When I said something to me. So I reached home and I literally went home and I just started typing something. And as I was typing, the story was being written, literally. And a rough cut of something came out. And I was like, yo, this is special. This is something. I have a feature film script ready to go. Shot list, everything done, just ready to shoot. And I said, I'm not ready to do this movie yet. There's something calling me to do. I wrote another film called Frames, which is a powerful film. I swear, that movie is gonna shake things up. And I said, this don't ready yet. And I have everything prepared for that film as well. And I'm like, this don't ready yet. And the other day I was sharing with Kevin, and Kevin said, yeah, but if you have everything ready, go ahead with it. And I'm like, yeah, but I just didn't feel like it was time, so I left it alone. And came to me and it was like, yo. And the approach that I'm taking for it, just like I said, is a very delicate approach, because I feel like as a filmmaker, you have the responsibility to cement something in time. Whether your film wins awards, doesn't get any popularity, you get 5 views on YouTube or whatever, you have a responsibility and you have to treat it with that delicate touch. And I feel as if that's why I've been working on the script for the last few months. I took some time off from it and I said I'm going to approach it again soon. And then I'm going to get the ball rolling. For this one, I want as much creatives a part of it as possible. Under my directorial, because I'm leading this one. But I mean, it's just special for me. So all of these things that have happened before, especially with those issues with Mari, I think I'm good now. We spoke about the whole situation several times. I met him up at CBM at Sunrise. I had an interview, he had an interview at the same time. We met afterwards and we were talking. We have some plans in play coming up. So we're good. I don't keep malice and those type of stuff. I'm all about progress and progression and everybody working together, which is why I created Movie Nites, which is to help to bring everybody together,
On that note, I love that, Zine, because I always say, well, you don't need to argue and make up nice, but it's best for you to be arguing about the art than personal thing. You see me say? So as long as it's not personal, it's just over the art. You are both trying to make it better. You see me say? I've seen his series, US series, not all it, I think, but I've seen part of it, and
he has some new stuff too. You have some new stuff which are amazing.
Yeah, and then you have your skill too. So that's great. Oh no, I mean, just forward together and make another thing. It's easy. You see what I say? If it don't work next time, we go, maybe it's more than that. Maybe we need to go counsel it. But
Never
you know
that,
what I
man.
mean?
Never that. It's just
It's a
creating
message.
differences, man.
But
That's all.
but what I like is this. This is one of the biggest things. It's where you understand yourself, and then because I do it too. Like you understand yourself and you go, okay, something else will never work. We need to fix this. It's a message, and you go to the person and you talk to them about it and you try to understand. And they give you the time to come and talk to them and work it out. You understand? That's a good thing because you learn and you make yourself better for the next set and the next people them. And listen, as you say, you're a big filmmaker in a small pond in Montego Bay. So that means that you're easy to pick out. So if nobody never want to work with your company, your film, your movie nights or nothing because you're an asshole, they wouldn't have forward, they wouldn't gain that energy. So obviously people know how you stay and them understand what kind of filmmaker you are. So they might continue gear energy.
As you said that, I'm so sorry to cut you, but about 4 days ago or 3 days ago, I was told something which was very interesting to me. Because I find that there's a lot of people who they don't try to understand. They say see first to understand before being understood. I always try to see first to understand. So in this world, right, one of the things that I learned, especially in marketing, is there are times to be, people pleasers and stuff. And then there are times where you have to be disruptive, right? I'm a little guy in Mobay when you compare myself to so many other filmmakers like Storm Salt and all these guys, right? I don't do many of those types of projects because I try to learn everything around the filmmaking world. I don't just lock into one space. I really wanted to put out my feature film, and I looked at it and said, why is Palace Multiplex not picking up films? Why is it that all these films are getting all these big blockbuster deals and Jamaica films not really getting that? So I said I wanted to learn a little bit about distribution, and that's where Movie Nites came in, right? So if people were to look at my trajectory in terms of how I move and how I do things, I'm a very disruptive person. So the line that was said is, apparently there are some persons speaking, and they were saying that I made a statement, I don't remember how long ago, that I'm the king of film in Mobay. And a lot of people...
Wait there. I feel I'm hear that line already. It says something about Steven Spielberg. It says something about Steven Spielberg.
I've said a lot of different things, but I've said a lot of things disruptive. Remember, I'm the type of guy that put on costume and all that type of stuff and run around Mobay like the Joker. I did the Grinch.
Joker wonder way they do that. That was sick. We need to talk about the acting part, but get back to it. So get back to it.
Right? So apparently some persons took offense to it because they said that
the line.
Yeah, that I'm the king of film, right? So I was like, for me, it's literally just a disruptive statement. That's literally what it was. If you look at what I said and look at how I've been doing things, which is being inclusive with everybody, with everything that I've done, right? You'll find that that's not my type of personality. It's literally just a disruptive statement. I'm the king of film. That's it, right?
I like excitement.
I love the excitement. I love the excitement. That's
are you say let's not get it confused, because you have people who love excitement. I love people who love create a shift and they create an effect, and then that was just what you call it in marketing. People as artists like them do fake war, fake this.
Exactly. Just like Alkaline with with the black eyes, just like
with the eye and so.
Exactly. It's literally
just these things.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, if you're a small fish in this big pond, right? And as I'm growing, I realize, okay, how can I be different, right? How can I be different? Let me say a statement, kind of like Muhammad Ali. I'm the best ever. All that type of stuff, right? When you say something like that, everybody's gonna be like, what talk over this stuff? What do about it?
As a matter of fact, you might step on Kevin's toe. You're like, yo, what must I say? I'm gonna text him real quick.
No, but guess what? In this type of world, you don't want to become forgettable. You don't want to be somebody that's just lost in the crowd. and all that type of stuff. You want to be, you want people to say, how that? Everybody's in black and you're in white. Everybody's like, how that? You get me? So that's really what that
Yeah.
what that was. Even with the Joker thing, even with the Grinch thing, it's like I always try to be different in everything that I do. Everybody does. A lot of people have been doing movie nights, right? And I really love it. I really support it. A lot of persons have asked me to share my films with them, and I've been happy to do it. Unfortunately, well, there's actually one that I was supposed to send the film, but I've been so busy I forgot to. But it wasn't a means of I didn't want to. It's because I just honestly I have a very, very busy life. Like I said, I have to go to a meeting shortly, right? But what happened is, when you look at how things are in the space, the biggest question a person must ask is, if your goal is to win the highest award on the biggest stage ever, what can you do different to stand out? And
So,
that's literally what I've been doing, really. Just being a troublemaker, that's all.
So wait, there's two
All right, me have a
things that go with
question
that
now.
now. Wait,
Sure.
give me 1 second, Kevin. There's
Uh-huh.
two things. I for trouble you first before I answer that question here and trouble you again.
No problem.
Kevin send him a film, and I don't see it in the lineup. Is what?
Which film is that?
Tell him, Kevin.
Which film is that, Kevin?
Wrath.
Wrath. When was that supposed to be included? No, yes, I remember. That was from the 7 deadly sins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember this.
Don't worry.
Right?
I
But
just bring up that.
But don't worry,
Trouble.
I have
Yeah.
something special to share with y'all soon.
But
Very special.
the question is, the move where you say you make, which is cool. My understanding, you're just creating a disruption. You get little trouble. You see what I say? But the thing is, the way you just spoke about it a while ago, you talk about it like, when an artist I try to stay relevant, and I'm gonna drop music all the time, and I'm gonna drop things all the time, that after a while that get kind of like played out and boring, and people they look when you're like,
They don't respond to it the same anymore.
exactly.
Okay.
See,
Well,
does it work for you, or do you think, no,
well,
do you think it works for you?
Well, honestly, like I said, that statement about the King of Mobay or whatever was literally made like probably about 7 or 8 years ago, right? So it was just kind of funny to me that it was brought up in a conversation between some creatives, because I'm like, I don't even post. I rarely post, and I get brought up by Kevin about why I don't post my stuff. I did the Cartel interview, the first interview that he did after he came out of prison and stuff, and I was literally batted up to post that.
Oh,
I mean, I said that.
Was that?
It was
you must have seen it, bro. You must have seen it. The one where everybody did not talk about when he was
my butt up him girlfriend.
Butt up him girl, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are the producer in a little podcast area or funny?
That same one.
I know say they're around that area there. So before Kevin take over, remember, if Mega give example, I was supposed to get a job when we there in Jamaica, and it's crazy. It's a DP when I know up here. Cause just so you know, I'm not there in Jamaica, LA there.
Nice.
See, so a DP will know from LA for the Jamaica, and it's crazy. They wanted me on the music video. It's a DJ Khaled music video. So they call me. It's like they put me on the job. Then all of a sudden they call and they say, "Oh, we no longer want you." I'm like, "Whoa, what happened?" Me keep my ear to the grapevine. People already talk about me, know about me, right? And then me look into myself. I'm like, what people know about me? Nobody really don't know me in Jamaica like that. You see me I say? And it's crazy how people know things where you already. So that I said this, where you made that statement there 100 years ago. But people probably remember the behind the scenes of knock knock. I probably hear about knock knock. You understand? And then them put that with that and go, them write you off. You know, Jamaicans stay already. Especially when them cliquish, them not care. I say, oh, I'm not gonna work with them about. I mean, probably not gonna work with them again. Anyway, so now
Well,
worry about it. You see?
honestly, one of the things that I've learned recently is you can't really watch the noise in the market. I think that as a creative, your job is to create. And if it is that you do a good enough job, then it will get you whatever recognition or whatever prize or whatever glory you're trying to do. So for example, for me, I said a statement literally out of just giving trouble. And since then, I've done nothing but try to help other persons, to be honest, right? So if it is that you have now, while you may have a person like Kevin, and I can't say much about you because this is the first time I'm meeting you officially, right? You seem like a cool guy, but I don't know enough to give an opinion, right? So there are people who are bent on doing good, and there are people who are bent on doing bad. So like even recently, I heard again that there was a gentleman in the city who my name was called in a meeting. They want me to do a project. And he was like, oh no, Dario doesn't do those things. Dario doesn't do documentaries, right? And I was like, and this is after the fact. This is after the fact that I heard about it. After he completely messed up the person's stuff. And then the person called me back and they're like, hey, Dario, there's something I'd love to talk to you about. They haven't had the conversation with me yet, but I'm not going to call the person out because he's pretty popular. But what I will say is there are persons bent on doing good and there are persons bent on doing bad. And then there are persons who are just trying to be a good person, to be honest. Right? So all I will say is just try to be the best person that you can be with the present circumstances and situations and all that's going on for you. That's pretty much all I can say,
What I want to know is what kind of support have you been receiving from Movie Nites? Where do you see Movie Nites like in 2025 this year? You must have plans with, and the studio, you're building this studio. Why? Why are you building the studio? What's the angle?
Well,
So
I
yeah,
believe
Movie Nites. So Movie Nites first, then the studio.
well, a lot of persons have been asking me when we are getting another movie night, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of issues that I saw with the first year of movie nights, and I had to do a deep dive, a deep audit on it. Issues with myself, issues with my team, and issues with like the audience the marketing that I chose, all of this type of stuff. So I've literally been reworking and retweaking some stuff, doing some tests and all kind of stuff. And I'm actually relaunching Movie Nites 2.0 soon with the launch of my studio. So the launch of the studio next month is actually going to be the launch of literally Movie Nites and the studio, which is why everybody's been asking for.
Oh, okay.
So
So you're actually gonna use that space to show the movies.
not just to show movies, but really it's just in the grand opening of movie night of the studio, I'm going to use that to start back the marketing because I'm rebranding. The logo is being redone, the marketing documents, all kind of stuff is just being redone. I actually spoke with the graphic artist today. I got 2 new samples of the logo. I gave some notes. I'm waiting on the new thing. But for me, I've gotten a lot of support from a lot of filmmakers. A lot of persons have been very skeptical. I've been told hands down by some persons like, I'm not interested, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for reaching out. And then as time has progressed, the conversation has changed because I think they're realizing that I'm actually trying to do something good, you know? A lot of the things that have stalled the growth of Movie Nights how I'd like it to be is actually on my end. I take the blame for that. I needed to sit down and structurally build it out and then release it like that. For 2025, one of the conversations I've been having is I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of sponsors, a lot of a lot of persons who are going to sponsor the night. So I have a big one coming up in May and June for a big company. I'll share that when it's confirmed. I also am getting movie nights within a partnership with Palace. I'm also getting movie nights into hotels. I've actually gotten a few hotels already, and I'm aiming for a big one, but we'll see how that goes. And we're actually taking movie nights overseas. So I'm traveling next month and to the first country to broadcast brand Jamaica, packaged with movies and all kind of different other things. And we go to these other countries before I go to the US, before I go to Canada. I'm hitting the Commonwealth first. You know, when it comes to the studio now, I built the space because I needed a studio, to be honest. Right? Persons kept asking me for a space where they can come and do shoots. I visited Kingston. I've seen like the lab, very amazing space. And I was like, I need something like this for myself. So if you want it, get it. That was literally the attitude. So I went, I was just walking on a mall and I saw that it had an opening. So I looked inside and my friend said, "Oh, this could be a studio." And I said, so this could be a studio for sure. And I went downstairs, talked to the landlord for the building, and he was like, "Yeah, man, da, 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 da." We talked. The next day I signed on the lease without a plan, without anything at all. I said, I want it, I'm just gonna build it. That's just the type of person I am. I believe that if you want something, you build as you go, you learn as you go. And then, so the space itself is going to be a creative space. It has a cyc wall of like 12 by 14 feet. And it also has a room which is being soundproof right now, which I plan to use for podcasts, like talking at videos, all kind of different type of creative audio stuff. I always needed a room to do ADR and Foley, like the stamping, all of those type of stuff. So I said I'm going to create it, but not just create it for me, but create it to where other creatives can use it. Create it to where we can have a space for everyone in Montego Bay. Too often, Kingston gets all the hype. Too often you hear that Kingston is where all the filmmakers are. And to be honest, despite what was said about me, Mobe has some amazing creatives. Like when you see their work, you're like, damn. It like there's this photographer, right? His name is Kashif, right? And he mostly does weddings. And when you see his wedding picture, you feel like you want to get married. I swear. Like, I love to see his stuff. Then you have Yannick. When you see his wedding videos, Kashif and Yannick work together mostly. And when you see their stuff, you want to create something. So I feel as if some of the limitations that I have, a lot of persons have it worse because I have like 7 cameras. Some persons have 1. Some persons don't have flash. So if you have a creative space where persons can come, pay a small fee and use a flash, a light, all of that type of stuff, then they'll be able to create. And that's really the goal, for us to create more, to build more, kind of the same thing like what you're doing with ANOUVUE, So that's really the goal. That's really the goal, to be honest.
Question, where were you living when you say where not living? You're visiting America when you say you got into film kind of? Or were you living? Which one?
No. I was visiting. So what happened is that, so I took a break. I took a break, right? And I was just overseas for like 3 months with my sister, right? Just literally sitting on the couch, burning out my savings. Literally. Oh, I was in Virginia.
Oh, okay. I got ask. I know Virginia State. I used to live there. I was gonna ask you why you didn't like stay here and do film, but Virginia kind of it's a different energy over there. So it's more
it's very
judicial,
chill.
more
and
judicial. It's more military and thing like that.
Yeah, my family is actually military, so that's kind of why I was there. Yeah,
exactly.
My family is mostly military persons. So yeah. But yeah.
Okay. And listen, with this is the reason I always say to people, it's man, not people want to do it, but you should keep an open mind. So it's always good to sit down and talk with like the right name there of North Korea, Trump. All the people don't want to like Putin, all of these people, you sit down and talk to them and understand for them mindset. I mean, there's people that's persuasive and all the above, but understand their mindset and understand where them are forward from before you say, this are all them stay. You know, I want to do this with them, da 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 da. Because now understanding your mindset and how you stay and where you're forward from, I get it. You see me I say? Just like what something with Bold the other day, and Bold say, yo, when you want beat him and you want to put up him finger, when the man meet him, man, oh, you must say, you never do that again. And the next time you catch him in the right name there, we call it the Olympic, and then murder him in the Olympic. You understand? Because we know the mindset, we know how you stay, we know. So we want like with that mindset there, you have to work with people. We have to understand you and be able to work with you with that style, with that vibe there. You see me I say? So if me I work with somebody, I'm see so them have that style, and I go, okay, cool. But know how to ask them a question and how to put forth the idea to see if they would accept it. You see me I say? And sometimes with people with that type of energy, you kind of talk less and listen more.
No,
You see me I say?
Sorry to cut you, but you know what's interesting is that what a lot of people I hear a lot of people talking about is the experience of Natna. But I've done 27 other films, you know. So what's interesting is why is it that that is the one bad experience that is being pointed out? I've done a lot of other films with a lot of other filmmakers and stuff, you know. Maybe it's
That's what
because
we're talking about.
yeah.
Let's not talk about that not there anymore, because no me know say you have 26 other films. Well, me never know about. No me understand. Listen, bro. You see, film sets are not the easiest thing, you know.
Oh, that's
Especially
true.
when you're fresh to it and probably that's the first time working on a production like that or
Especially if
with
it's
another
fast
person.
paced.
And
Especially if
it's
it's
fast
fast
paced,
paced.
everything in
Exactly.
one night. You understand? Me
Exactly.
never did know you're doing a one night. You
Yep.
understand? There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of things. You see me say? No, you have to cut things because you have one night to shoot instead of 2 nights to shoot or 3 nights to shoot.
And we were
So we're not
losing
worried
like
about that no more. Bro, there's no perfect film set. There's no perfect. So my name not pre that no more. Now me know, now I understand. And then this is what me did almost forget. This is one thing me and Kevin I was talking about with ANOUVUE. We say, yo, when we see people like you that's prolific and I do things, maybe if your work quality or whatever is not there or so on, we have to reach out to people like Uno and say, yo, I could go on our energy or talk on Uno or create with Uno. Because, bro, with the level of work what you are do on a knockout, if you had a solid DP of a Montego Bay with you, and like a solid team with you of a Montego Bay dog, you'd be killing it, bro.
that's
You
the
see me
problem.
say? But you see when you do everything, most things by yourself and all type of thing on a design poster, come say design poster. Don't worry. Right? I see a design a poster them, I see a
Not
do your thing them,
anymore.
I'm gonna say, bro, you're doing it all by yourself, but you have to do that. So people believe in you and people see and you show how serious you are. I'm like that. That's good. And bro, next thing we just need to create something together. Mr. DP though. That's what I say.
All
But
good.
here's what I say.
We're all good, man. We're all good. Like
But
I always say, sorry to cut you there. I always say, right, that for me personally, I have no problem working with anybody, right? I think that one of the biggest challenges, and it was a learning point for me, is that I had to work with people but to work with me. Because my mind race for is the fact that I really don't remember her name, and I promise I will give her the credit needed. But one of the things she said when I was writing Knock Knock is, Dario, you're thinking like a director. You can't think like a director. You're a writer. In this moment, you're a writer. So think like the writer. Unfortunately, just because of what you said, most of the time I'm around persons who are not at a certain level. They're very willing, but they're not at that level to where you can leave them to do whatever needs to be done. You know? So what I've done is that I with Mario is because Mario is at a high level, I'm at a high level. So because I'm used to telling people what to do and all that type of stuff, being around that energy, not being around that energy for a long enough time to where we can understand each other, that caused a little conflict on set. How to say hi, that caused a little conflict on set as well with Yannick. Yannick was the one that did the DP for it. And I've done a lot of different projects with a lot of different people. And, you know, the more you learn about people, the more you understand. So like right now, like I said, for me, try to seek first to understand before I try to. So most times I'm mostly just silent when I'm around persons, and I'm just chilling. You know?
Yeah.
We're on a podcast where I talk, but I mean outside of that, I'm just chilling, you know? Yeah.
That nice to hear. So what, unless Kevin want to answer your last question or ending, but you know, we probably want to know with up and forwarding, up and coming for the US people, filmmakers and people that's getting in the game, like what you have to say to them? We want to just hit the ground running, or they want to off we get into industry, or you know, maneuver themselves into starting filmmaking and doing it well. Because you know, I mean, we are the we here are the failures for them to look at, not failure like we fail, but look at things that we have created and look at the things that we have failed in when we created those things, and how they can, you know, build on what we already do.
I think it was Matthew McConaughey that said it. I may be messing up his last name. I'm so sorry. But I think he said it in an award speech that you have to yourself, you have to love what you're doing, and you have to learn to fail. Like if you're not willing or open to failing, you are going to fail. Because like for me, that's literally been my mantra. Literally, I've had to learn to slow down a bit now, but you have to try. You can't just sit down and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do a film, but I need an FX6 because Netflix needs to get it." No, bro. Netflix not gonna look for you right now. It may, but follow something like what Kevin said to me a long time ago. Yo, bro, you need to focus on the story. Focus on the story. Nothing else matters. You focus on telling a good, really good, compelling story. That's like 70% of the work. Try to get as best a possible sound as you can. That's another 10%. Try to work with as best people. A good team who know your vision is. And then see how you can share your vision to help them to incorporate their vision into what you're doing. And so it creates a story. That's not your story, it's our story. So that's why I say, oh, even the script. I've not done anything on the script. I have not written anything on the script outside of the fact that I'm doing this movie and I want it to be released on Emancipation Day. Nothing else. I've spoken to a few people, but I've not done any actionable things as yet. The only thing I want to do on this film, the only thing is to direct it. Absolutely nothing else I want to do. I don't want to just want to direct it feel like us as Black people needs this movie. I feel like us as descendants of all kind of different struggles, because when you understand the story of what Sam Sharp went through, you read his book and you go through his mind. Jamaica, this guy wanted better for us. So I feel as if, especially with the state of how Jamaica is right now, very you know, I work with the politicians, but I'll say that, and I feel as if this will help us to be more open to the thought of what can I give up for Lent so that other people can thrive. And for me, one of the biggest things I've decided to give up is control over certain things, you know? And I feel as if people take on that mantra to say, yo, I'm going to get this thing done despite whatever it is that you want to write down or talk about or whatever, I think that you will create amazing things. And don't look for it to be amazing on the first try, second try, third try. Just keep on making sure that every time you do it, it's at least 1% better. At least that. If the sound was bad, at least make it sound less echoey for the next one. If the camera was shaky, try to borrow a gimbal, try to use what you call it, tripods more, or those type of stuff. If the lighting was bad, try to shoot in the day or something. Try to make sure that you do as best as you can with what you have. Don't watch nobody else. I just bought a FX3 and I'm like, wow, this camera is wicked. But I have I had an A7 III before. And I was like, this camera, at that time, I was like, A7 III is wicked. And before that, I had a A6300 and that was wicked. And before that, I had my first camera, I still have it. I still have it because that showed me that this is where I came from. It humbles me to say no matter where you go in life, in our work, I might need to get it fixed. But it's a Canon Rebel T3. And at the time,
yeah, brother, the T2Y. The T2Y made it that one.
T2I did bad. T2I did bad.
Okay, then with the magic lantern.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but no,
come on now.
but look at it like this. You're comparing the T2I to like FX3, right? It's a massive difference. But look also at your mindset, where you were to where you are. Massive difference as well. Because I read something the other day and it said that winning a really big award, let's use the Oscars for example. It's a beautiful trophy that values $800 or something like that. But it's not really about winning the award. It's about who you become to actually earn that award, you know? So I'm just really thankful of where I am. I'm thankful of what I see as a potential and possibility for where God would like to take me. And I'm just living. I'm just living, man. I'm just living, man.
I'd love for you to just like drop your socials, and if anybody want, like if people want to what you call it, submit their films to you to be on Movie Nites, you know, how should they get in touch with you?
Well, the easiest place I'd say is to Instagram, because that's the easiest place for me. So my Instagram is Dario Shields official. So that's DARIOSHIELDS official. And then from that, there'll be the link to the Movie Nites page and also the website and all kind of stuff. So from there, persons will message me, I'll respond the latest 24 hours from that. And I always at least consider everybody. I don't try to discriminate everybody because everybody has a starting point. And my greatest level right now is probably Steven Spielberg would probably look at my work and he's like, why you have a far way to go? And then I would look at another person and like, why you have a far way to go? And even Steven Spielberg, even at the greatest level that he is, he's my favorite filmmaker. That's why I speak so much about it. But like, even when you look at even him, I'm pretty sure he has someone that he looks up to as well to say, yo, he would like to reach to that level, right? So honestly, I always say just keep trying, just keep doing, keep going, and everything will be all right. Yeah.
I would say you're on the way to being the Steven Spielberg of Jamaica. I will end on that.
Well, if that is God's will, if that is God's will.
Bro, you continue the energy and hitting and knocking out things like that. There's nothing that can stop you because you still your work when people are asleep. And that's
I
how
actually am.
that's
I
like
actually
Messi.
am.
Yes, that's Messi and Ronaldo. Ronaldo work. Messi born with it. You see what I say? So there's natural and there's just people that work hard. And you see what I say? Two name them a call, but people can't even choose sometimes. Brother, lovely meeting you. We'll see you in a real life and move forward. But
Likewise.
continue. Keep up your energy.
Yeah, man. On that note, we are closing out. This ends another episode of our New View podcast where we spoke with Dario Shields, the man who is making films from Montego Bay. Who's won several awards. The owner and host of Movie Nites, a platform where people can actually watch Jamaican movies, Jamaican content live and direct. He's showcased Movie Nites in Montego Bay, Kingston, Mandeville, all over the place. He doesn't discriminate. Every parish, can get to watch his films, and it's, as he said it here, it's soon to get bigger. So Dario, big up yourself. Good luck on the journey. I don't even think you need luck because you just have energy. Yeah, man. God just get that energy.
I just need
keep
God.
pressing on. So just keep pressing on, blood, and yeah, man. Higher heights.
Much love.
Thank you for listening to the A New View podcast. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want more information on today's episode, check the show notes below if you are on a podcast platform, or the description if you are on YouTube. See you next episode.